Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Party Invite podcast. I am your host, Tegan, joined by Vilos and Obsidianite.
Hello.
Oh, hey.
And we're your party leaders this week. We've got now playing ahead. We're going to talk about a game each that is on our mind that's been on our plate lately. But we here at Party Invite, we have a community of people who like to play, watch, and chat about games together in a constructive environment. If you'd ever like to come join us, we are live on Twitch every once in a while, at least once a week. And our discord.gg/partyinviteshow is a wonderful place to be. So, speaking of positive things, let's start with our Bliss and Up segment, something that made us smile this week, either gaming or otherwise. I'll start. Mine is gaming. We just recently tried out Minecraft for the first time in our community. I've played Minecraft before, but that was practically a lifetime ago. And I didn't expect when we decided to boot this game up that when we put out the call, half of our community would be like, "Was it Minecraft? Did somebody mention Minecraft? Are you guys are playing tonight?" And we
It's
had
like the seagulls from Finding Nemo.
absolutely everybody showed up out of the woodwork. So we filled up a server. The basic number is 8 players, and we had 10 people lined up. So we did some shuffling, and everybody was able to play. But that just cracked me up. Minecraft has been around for a long, long time, and they just keep updating it. So to jump back in and for me to play for the first time on PC was fun. But each of us loading it up, our friend Fuzzy, who we play all sorts of games with, Fuzzy'd never played the game at all before. So that was fun, helping him learn, but also hearing him learn. Because it's a great experience when you can help somebody, but it's even better when they're excited to learn on their own. So you get to hear that sense of discovery while you're also rediscovering the game because there have been so many changes. But we started a couple different servers on a couple different editions of the game. It cracked me up. Our friend Benson jumped into the chat and he goes, "Oh, you guys are playing Minecraft? Cool. What version are you playing?" And all of us were like, Minecraft?" We're like, don't even know the answer to that question. And so he kind of held our hand a little bit to walk us through like what these different versions are. This one has crossplay, but no mods. This one has mods, but no crossplay. And some other stuff. But yeah, it was delightful. I spent most of our session the other day while everyone else was digging and exploring and being productive. I pretty much walked around the cherry blossom trees for like 3 hours and just hung out. I didn't really do anything. I've never spent that much time above the ground ever when I've played Minecraft. I always go straight into the caves. So it was really nice to just completely kick back and be intentionally unproductive while we were playing. It was great. So I'm excited to do that again. I've got a couple houses in the works. I even today was looking up some inspiration on things that I could build. That's something I've done with Valheim a lot. We have a building server for Valheim, but I have not done that for Minecraft. Turns out a lot of people have built a lot of things, so I'm excited to look more into that and just experiment more, because I have not spent much time in Minecraft, like substantially building. I always gather materials, but I never get to the fun part. Well, I never get to the part where I turn those into fun things. So looking forward to that. So Minecraft, I'm sure, just like many of these other survival games, Don't Starve and Valheim especially, they'll be back in the rotation for quite a while. So even if you're hearing this a year from now, there's a good chance that if you're looking for somebody to play with, you can find one. So that's it for me. I'm excited. But that's future stuff. That's future stuff. Sid, let's bounce over to you. You were busy this weekend.
I was so busy this weekend. I went to a LAN party. It was a 30-hour LAN party. I didn't spend the whole time there. It was like maybe 20 hours out of the 30. But I talk about KC Game On every so often, for which I'm a partner for that organization. And every so often, I want to say like twice a year, we do LAN parties. And we have a venue. People can bring their PCs, their own PCs. We all set up everything, and we all game together. Actually, Benson was at that LAN party, sitting next to me while you guys were playing Minecraft. So I was able to watch, even though I wasn't participating. So I was able to kind of watch, and like I saw the cherry blossom trees, and they're so pretty.
They are.
Like I could see why you spent so much time there, because I was just like, I kind of want to play. Like, it was inspirational. Like, maybe. I'm not really big into Minecraft, like other survival games.
Okay, so Sid, bear with me here. We had a house in the cherry blossom trees, right? Like the trees are around us. So then I built on top, and if you use a pair of shears in the game, you can take pieces of like bush and tree. You can take the leaves, and you can move them. You instead of just destroying them when you break them, you can actually pick them up and move them. So I made an entire second level to our base that is up above, like inside the cherry blossom trees. It's incredible. It's
That's
great.
actually really cool. It reminds me the first time I ever played Minecraft, I built like a giant sprawling spiral library treehouse. So it was like a big like you go into the trunk of the tree and it's like a big spiral like library. It had glowstones everywhere. It was so pretty. You took a redstone rail cart to get there. Like it was so cool. And then we were talking about this before we started recording, but I made a custom skin based on an OC of mine, and it was just great. It was a fun time. If I can find that spark again, I might consider jumping back in. But watching you guys at the land that I was at was like I was like this close. I was like, oh, do I really want to download? But no, the land was a lot of fun. I mean, there was catered dinner on Saturday because we're partnered with Buffalo Wild Wings. So Buffalo Wild Wings came in and brought a bunch of wings, everybody, and it was just a really jolly, good old time. And you see like memes and stuff of lands on the internet, like people taped to the ceiling and whatnot. We don't recapture that exact essence, but just having a land party in like today's like non-couch co-op, non-local gaming meta, I guess you can call it, like, atmosphere is like really refreshing. And I'm glad that we do it twice a year because people who can't make it to one can come to the other. And they're at both temperate times of the year. So like one during like the spring, the other one's during like fall. So we'll have the next one like in November, like early November, late October, that sort of affair. And the biggest draw is karaoke on a Friday night. Yeah. If you go to my Twitter, you'll see a very fun video of me singing Bring Me to Life with audience participation. And they participated very creatively. Very creatively.
Did they bring you to life?
They brought me to tears. Happy tears of laughter, but it was a fun time. So highly recommend. Each land we give away like $4,000-$5,000 worth of prizes during a raffle. So like I won a whole sound bar, I won a new microphone.
Wow.
Microphone, like this is chunky and it's white like Calliope, so I can't wait to try it out.
Nice.
Yeah, people won whole new computer cases that haven't even been debuted to the public yet. So I mean, there are some pretty good prizes, and I was really happy to win some of those and just see everybody and hang out and do the Twitch KC meetup that was there, which I could talk about some other time. But like it was powered by Twitch. We actually had a branch of Twitch right here in the Heartland. Yeah,
Nice.
it was fun. It was just a great time. I love lands. It's great.
Yeah, it's just fun to be in a place where people are excited to be there. Whether it's like a sports game or a LAN event or even a bar.
And it's like overnight too. You can sleep there.
Okay, so I got questions because I forgot about that. Are people actually pulling up their sleeping bags and like
some people bring sleeping bags. Last time I went, we had access to couches and things. Apparently the management of the building had changed hands, so we weren't allowed to like move the furniture as freely as we were last time. But people bring sleeping bags. People sleep in their chairs. I mean, the gamer chairs recline like all the way back, right?
So but still, I'm not sleeping in that. That's just whew.
Yeah. People slept on the hardwood floor. I mean,
oh no.
Even without moving furniture necessarily, I'm sure there's some way to get some sort of pillow fort sort of situation coming in there.
Oh yeah, I mean, people bring their own stuff.
Yep.
I would definitely do that. Yeah.
I would definitely do that. Like from the episode of Community where the entire school is
That was such a good episode.
fort. Well, yeah, I'm excited. So that was Casey Game On, the land you went to. They have that like quarterly ?
Bi-yearly? Is that a real word?
Biannually?
Biannually? Okay.
Semi-annually?
Semi-annually, I think, is more accurate because biannually implies very punctual, like every 6 months or something, right? But no, it's kind of willy-nilly when it happens. It's just one equinox and then the other equinox. So
they're like, the eclipse is coming. We got to have a land,
before the world ends for the 50th time.
I mean, this was number 95, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
So later this year will be 96.
Nice. All right.
Because math.
Because math indeed. Vilos, what's good with you?
Yeah, so I am finally getting an entire week off of work. So that is legit. So today I did absolutely nothing on Saturday, and so today I decided to get the party started a little bit with that retail therapy as per usual. one of the Blitzen Ups, the next Blitzen Up that we're gonna do, was part of my entertainment today. I'm really spending this week getting a couple things done, but mostly just enjoying myself. And like I started the day off with going to Banksia Bakehouse and Cafe. Had this awesome Cuban sandwich that had a Cuban sandwich with an arugula salad that had like the best dressing ever. Like I was dipping my sandwich into the dressing. It was so good. Yes. I went directly from that to Service Brewing Co. and had a flight of some really awesome beers that they have there. And shout out to Service Brewing Co. They're about to have their 5th anniversary, and they just have some of the coolest, most unique beers. I think they're in like over 500 beers that they've made in that 5-year span. It's ridiculous.
What is this brewery? Service Brain Co.
Service Brewing Co.
Brewing Co. Okay, I'm just like, I know I'm hearing this incorrectly. Like,
yeah. So it's Service spelled Servaes, and it's a really great place.
Wait,
the name is
S-E-R?
Servaes. So
it's
a name.
Kind of
it's an
Cerveza.
actual person's name.
Oh, okay.
It's a person's name.
Okay.
Courtney Service is the head brewer.
Well, that's so founder. Fun that their name is like an not anagram. Is it anagram of where the letters are switched around? I think that's anagram.
I think that's an anagram.
Yeah, so their name is an anagram of Cerveza, kind of. That's really neat.
It's pretty cool. It's really funny though that most of their beers are sours, but they do a decent amount of good IPAs. And I tried their new Doppelbock today, which is a really nice lager that's got a little bit of bite to it. And then I went straight from that to watching a movie that I'll talk about later, and went to GameStop and got. Yeah, I hate GameStop, but I realized when I got there that they have buy two get one as usual on their pre-owned games, and I grabbed Monster Hunter Rise with Harvestella, and those two
is that
combined
the sequel to Harvest Moon?
Yeah, totally. It actually is.
It is kind of
successor.
like Final Fantasy Harvest Moon.
Wow.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Isn't it funny that that's like an anagram for the game that it's?
Oh my god! It's a bit now.
What?
But I got Monster Hunter Rise, Harvestella, and then the free game was Nexomon, which is a Pokemon-like. The case that I grabbed was the combo pack, which is supposed to be the both games. But I got home and popped it open, and it was just the first game.
Wow. Take it back.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing there is I would, except when you mess up like that at GameStop. The funny thing is that the combo was $15 on GameStop, right? So I technically got a $15 game free, except the game I received was a $28 game. So I know that if I did try to take it back, they'd screw me because I got the more valuable game in real life, and they do not have another copy of the game that I wanted to
Are
have.
You saying that normally
that makes sense?
They say that the free one, like buy two get one free, normally the free one's the cheapest one, and they gave you the more expensive one?
They gave me what would have been more expensive than the actual games I bought. Yeah.
Okay.
It's dumb. But okay, I'm getting off of that. I got this new hat.
Whoa!
I didn't realize
Super
that was a Pokemon hat this whole time, and we have been in this video call for so long. How did I not notice that?
Yeah, so I got this new Eevee hat, and they also had an Umbreon that was really cute, but Umbreon's like my third or fourth favorite evolution, so I was just like, you know what, I'll just stick with this one. But yeah,
for the unaware, Vilos' favorite evolution is Sylveon.
That's correct.
Our friend Deadpool was telling me yesterday during Minecraft that he is getting, I think it's a custom skin for his like debit card, or like you can order a debit card with a design on it, and the one he's getting is he told me there's an Umbreon alt illustration Pokemon card right now that's like $8,000 or something.
Moonbryon.
Moonbryon, you're right. That he's told me that. And so yeah, so he's gonna, have a laugh with his buddies to be like, "Yo guys, look what I got." Oh, just kidding. It's my
And then
debit
have
card.
his freaking debit card stolen. Yeah,
That
that's an
reminds
easy
me
way to
of
get that
my
done.
debit card.
Oh,
Ancient Mew. You
Wow.
can't really tell because my webcam is still terrible. I didn't get one from the LAN. I got a microphone.
next time. Very cool though. Very cool. Well, heck yeah. All right, so a good haul from everybody, right? We got GameStop, we got Game On, we got games, all around. It's good stuff. Speaking of more games, it's a now playing episode. So we each take one of the mini games that each of us is playing, and we spend about 15 minutes talking about them, so that you can hopefully discover something new, old, or in between that you might want to try for yourself. I think we've got a good spread here of new, old, and otherwise. Yeah. So, Sid, let's start with you. We got that new, and it sounds like there was some hype about your game going into it.
Yes. Actually, it's funny you said that the way that you did because this is actually an old new. Gigantic is the game I'll be talking about today, and it actually came out. Gosh, I don't even know how many years ago now, but it's been a while. It came out on like Xbox and Steam, I think. I can't remember. Epic Games had it at one point, but for some reason it vanished like the Avatar, and people were really upset about it. It was a really popular game, but for the uninitiated, Gigantic was basically a MOBA game without the laning. It's basically big boss fight all the time. It's 5-on-5, and you level up by eliminating your other team. So it's in that way, it's more like a hero shooter, but you're leveling up. And as you're leveling up, you're unlocking more skills, and then dealing damage to like the big guardian titan, representing the nexus, quote unquote, of your match, right? So I don't really know what to call it but it's another one of those games that blends the genres, y'all. You already know it's on my bingo card. So there's no laning. It's really, really cool because you still have like the skill trees. You still have to manage your talents and be mindful of where the enemy's levels are as opposed to where you are. So there's still that kind of like MOBA mindset around it, but it's more frenetic and more immediate, more hands-on than like a traditional MOBA is. You're like in the action. You're already right there. So it's really neat. So it's been relaunched now as Gigantic Rampage Edition. I believe the first one was free. I don't recall, it's been so long, but you can get this on Steam for $15. It feels kind of like early accessy though, for some reason. I don't know. There's a lot of server stability issues and like some quality of life things that need to be like really repolished and things like that. But they recently had an open beta test, and so I feel like they did listen and like balance people and like up the cosmetics and all that stuff, the standard beta test things. But it's just that when this game has such an overwhelmingly positive reaction, people are wanting to get back in there. Like, you remember the rumor that circulated before where it was just like, oh, people are being invited to like a private Gigantic retest to gauge interest or whatever, because I guess the IP had changed hands. And so the people who had now owned the property were just like, bring it back? So that happened, and then that revamped the popularity. So this time when it's like actually released now, server issues. And I say this every time. Why don't people plan for overwhelmed servers? Because they know the games are going to be popping.
Well,
So.
Because it happens so often, I wonder if they do know. Because, like, a game like Helldivers that had huge struggles on the weekend that it came out, Helldivers 2 seems like a massively more gigantic success than the first game. It's a different game, but I mean, I certainly didn't anticipate that game being such a hit. So when that one was when the servers just like couldn't handle it, I wasn't that surprised. But you're right, it happens all the time, and it feels like if it was as obvious to them as it is to us that it wouldn't happen. I mean, the money side of it would tell me that they would have done something about it, right? So
I almost wonder if it's like artificial demand sort of affair. Because I remember there's some video game like consoles that have done that, where they purposefully produce not enough units to like meet demand to create like an artificial like desire to like, we got to get in there, you got to get the pre-order, you got to do the thing, and then like people will wait and wait and wait, and then it'll create this like big burst of people clamoring and trampling over each other to get to the things. I wonder if at this point, and it's 2024, that people have so much money now, why don't we have like the servers that we need? So I feel like it's almost like an artificial demand kind of like creation. Yeah. But I mean, for big games like this, like you said, Helldivers is like super popular. People have been waiting for Gigantic to come back forever. People have like memed about it at this point. So
hey, remember Star Wars Battlefront came out and less than 200 people were able to play that game. Pretty cool.
I was trying to repress that.
Man. Yeah, let's all forget about that because that was a huge disappointment. I wish that should have been a home run, and it sure wasn't. But, okay, so Gigantic. Everybody was very hyped about it, as far as I can tell, because this wasn't on my radar at all. But then when it did come out, like, you and so many others who I saw in my Twitch feed were just like, it's finally here! I'm like, what are we talking about?
For host.
Yep. And, yeah, so is it what you expected?
Actually, it's changed a little bit. I don't recall this mode being in the first one, but there's like a rush mode now where instead of leveling up one by one, you're automatically max level with automatically your skills. I mean, you can either have auto pick or you can manually choose your skills. And since I have auto pick on, I don't know if in rush mode you pick them before the match or like during the preparation phase of the match, but you're just already max level. What you do is just basically like quick play almost. And then the normal mode is Clash mode, which is the mode that you see me playing on. Well, actually, no, I think in the video I'm playing Rush mode because this is from early on in that stream. And then later I switch to Clash when I unlock it. So Clash mode is like the real mode, quote unquote, the mode that you play to like compete, quote unquote, in the game. And they'll be releasing a ranked mode later. But in Clash mode, you level up as you defeat your enemies, and then you're collecting energy, which you can see at the top of the bar. This is true in both modes. You're collecting energy to fuel your guardian. On House Arion, it is Lyra, Lyra? Something like that. She's like a big old griffin. She's really cool. I love her to death. But then on the other side, which is House Devedra, you have Gren, who, I mean, is so sleek and sultry smooth with his evil dragitude. Like, it's crazy how cool he is. And they are vying against each other for, like, control of the world or whatever the plot is. And
as you do.
Taking control points, defeating enemies, and destroying people's monsters on the enemy field to fuel this. And then once you reach the the maximum amount of energy to fuel your guardian, they will actually cross the field themselves. So this isn't a stationary nexus at all. They're active in this. So they fly across the field, they pin down the other guardian, and then you have the opportunity to then wound them by causing reaching the threshold of damage that you can do during the period of time that they are vulnerable. And so in rush mode, you keep going until they're just eliminated. But in clash mode, you get 5 chances to clash, quote unquote, and you have to inflict 3 wounds on the guardian to win. And if you can't do that within the 5, you end up going to like the final clash, and then that's when it becomes basically rush mode almost. So that is the purpose of the game.
Nice.
And throughout this whole team, you have monsters that you can build at your base. You control the points and then the monsters can either heal you, create walls to block off paths for the enemy to travel, reveal enemies and other such things. There's ones that are like more active, so like an actual dragon that like breathes fire in the zone, and you could destroy these monsters to also then fuel your guardian.
Nice. So how much of the time in either of these modes, like how much of the time are you spending directly attacking other players versus doing like a PvE objective? I mean, I know that the objective is to win and you're going to do all these things in pursuit of that, but like what is your crosshair aiming at? Are you spending a lot of time actually fighting that guardian, or is it mostly fighting players directly?
It's mostly fighting players directly because eliminating players also fuels the guardian meter. So you're doing a lot of time fighting over those control points to get the energy orbs. You're not really fighting the monsters that people can summon, but you do want to try because if they're given the opportunity to, the enemy can upgrade your like their monsters. So like you can have the sproutling that heals you, that grows into like a tree that heals you, that grows into like a bigger tree that heals you for even more. So if you let the enemy upgrade their monsters or their summons, then that can be troublesome. So you do want to try and get in there and destroy them. But they're so tanky that without organized effort to do so, it's basically you're better off spending your time eliminating players, because if they're dead, they can't heal or, do whatever at their monster anyway, right? And then that'll then again fuel the guardian, and then they'll be down for like 30 seconds or so before they right themselves, and you have to go collect energy again.
Nice. Well, fun. Gigantic. Do you know off the top of your head who made that? I meant to look that up while you were speaking.
Art Games is credited as the studio behind them, and I'm not sure if that is the new owner or like the old owner or whatever. But I think behind Art Games is Gearbox, isn't it?
Let's see. So, Abstraction Games is the developer. The publisher is Arc Games, like you said. They made Remnant, Hyperlight Breaker. Well, published.
Published, yeah.
Let's see. Spelljammer, Torchlight 3. Yeah, I recognize some of these things. So yeah, I mean that's fun. That's a full whole thing. Is it in 1.0 right now, or is it early access?
I believe it's touted as 1.0, but it doesn't feel like it.
It feels like it's still got some work to do.
Just some kinks in there. I mean, I could check to be certain, but I'm pretty sure it's 1.0. Because I remember all the advertisers saying it's out now, and people don't usually say it's out now until it's 1.0 officially.
Right, for sure.
So.
Well, cool. Okay, well, I'm excited to hear more about this. Looking at Steam right now, the full price for PC is $20, and
oh, that's right, because I got it when it was on its introductory price, and then that's done now. Okay. I was like, $15 is really cheap, but $20, yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, it's 20% off for $16 right now, but of course by the time people hear this, that'll be different. But if it's like most games like this, I'm sure it'll go on sale on a regular enough basis. All right, well, cool, gigantic. Then Vilos, let's bounce over to you. Let's bounce over to you.
Yeah, my game this week is Planet of Lana. If you've listened to most of the podcasts over the past year, you'll know that I've been looking forward to Planet of Lana for a long time. It released last year, and the dev is Wishfully Studios, and officially it was their debut game. It came out about May last year, and I really wanted to get into it at the time because it was also a Game Pass Day 1 situation. But obviously I've got a ton of games that I'm going through. And I was like, now is the time. And it being almost a year since it did get on Game Pass, there's actually a likelihood that it's going to leave now. So I've kind of been keeping tabs on some of the games on Game Pass like that. And I was like, it's the time. Let's do this. It's not exactly a Metroidvania, but I was kind of feeling it, that mode. And it's very good, period. That's it. Cut, print. Like, it's a very good game. For me personally, I was a little bit disappointed in it, simply because if you're unfamiliar with Planet of Lana, it's an incredibly gorgeous, artistically or aesthetically gorgeous thing, right? It is an inside-like, so it's specifically a narrative puzzle platformer. That's the genre. But that said, with the number of games I do play, and I've seen this echoed in reviews since I completed it, it's just a little bit too derivative. It doesn't do anything new. It did absolutely nothing new for me. Emotionally, even, it was fine. It didn't bring a whole lot to the genre or to... It didn't bring as much as I'd hoped, personally, because I thought it would be that next step up, like an Ori and the Blind Forest to Ori and the Will of the Wisps update. If you have a change in games like that, you're like kind of set your expectations to what the genre can do in the future, and this just didn't do anything new for me. Again, it's absolutely gorgeous, The soundtrack is very good, and it's been touted. I think it won a couple like little indie awards out there. Was certainly nominated for a couple indies for the music itself. It's got some character, and I think that's part of the issue is that it doesn't have enough character. You know, and sorry if you're hearing sirens in the background. Hopefully you don't. But
It's the Lana police. They're like, bro, we had a
they're
lot
coming
riding
for
on this
me.
endorsement.
Lana!
So if you're unfamiliar, you might be watching the video that's playing, but the main character Lana, all of a sudden her planet is just overrun by this invasion of these robotic forces.
That's not what you
That's
want.
all you get. Right? That's the entire story that you get. Things coming.
Well,
all right. So of course
big,
when
scary
things come,
robot alien, maybe.
yeah, when things come, what happens? Oh, you lose somebody you love, right? So very first thing, things invade, and your sister gets caught.
Oh,
And these things most of the robots are very grabby, and so they're grabby. They take people, they put them in these little like hamster ball looking things, and then they pick them up and just jet off into wherever. And it takes you about 4 or 5 hours to beat the game, and it takes you more than 4 hours just to get to that spot that they were taken, obviously. And you have the help from this cute little black creature friend. I don't remember his name for some reason. He did technically have a name, but there's no dialogue in this story. It's one of those that has the little Simlish sort of sounds, just little like little bitty sounds.
Mm-hmm.
That's really all you get. The cute little squeaks of this creature, and the creature, which is completely unexplained. There's just like the creatures in this world are very weird, very special. They all have abilities in very weird ways, and it's completely unexplained. But he's like a little sprite from Spirited Away, but slightly cuter because he's got gangly little tentacle type appendages.
oh, he does. He looks like just a
Yeah.
big hamster cat.
Well,
Video.
that's the funnier thing too. Is like when I say they don't explain anything about these animals, they don't explain anything about these animals because he can use his limbs like in stretchy ways and shit that you don't really expect. For some reason, he's able to, in a roundabout way, control these giant enemies in some weird telepathic fashion.
Right.
Again, completely unexplained. It's just an ability that you get.
As you do.
Like a third of the way through the game. So it's kind of like it was disappointing for me because it was a paint by numbers sort of situation. It's like they saw all these other games in this genre and then they made the recipe exactly by the book.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so while if you're new to it, you've never played Inside, you've never played Somerville, you've never played Limbo, you've never played a side scroller or a puzzle platformer in this fashion, by all means, play Planet of Lana. You'll probably be blown away because it's really good. But if you've played through Ori in the Blind Forest, Ori in the Will of the Wisps, and some Metroidvanias and similar, it's nothing new. It's coming to Switch on April 16th. So sorry if I date this podcast a little bit, but I did want to try it before it comes to Switch because I am still of course collecting Switch games, and I'm hoping this one comes out physically eventually. And of course I like to support devs, so I might still pick it up on Switch just because it is something that I'd go back to, despite the fact that it doesn't actually give you a reason to go back. The only reason to go back is the 9 ruins to find. Is it runes or is it runes? I don't remember what they call them in the game. It's either ruins or runes.
See, they don't explain that. They just
yeah.
They just
Exactly.
They just like kind of Banjo Kazooie at you and hope you get it.
Yep.
Exactly. So this being a side-scrolling platformer, there is no hint as to where you might find these things. You just have to be like, oh shit, there's maybe a ledge right there. The sun appears to be peeking through the foliage ever so slightly different than than it is on the rest of the level. Like I missed, I think 6 out of 9 of these places to go to, and all you do is you look at them and your achievement pops. And that's
Wow.
It's just a place to, like, you get to the place and then you go back to doing the story.
Incredible.
So yeah, there's no replay value at all, but it's a good enough narrative despite the no talking and no actual character development, no lore. But hey, visuals are nice.
They are.
And it does some artsy things like the video that I
It's
showed.
very, very pretty.
It is. I joked when you first sent this to me that I had to make the video full screen to realize that we weren't just watching a sunrise, that there was actually a character on screen. Of course, on the podcast, they can't hear that there's music playing, but we joked that it seemed like they chose the music for the scene first and then made the game around it, where it just, like, sure, it's pretty, it's artsy, but, you know, it just kind of goes a little bit longer than I thought it would.
It's a very specific music video situation. And that's another thing in the game as well. It does some things that are just like for funsies, I guess, by the developers. It actually takes agency away from you multiple times in the game. There's a really cool chase scene that you do like 2 or 3 button presses for in like a 2 or 3 minute span. That's like, I would have loved to have played that, like done anything else but what I just did.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think for a debut game it's an amazing thing. But yeah, personally a little bit disappointed.
Well, rip. Well, that's Planet of Lana. Let's see. It's $20 full price on Steam. You can maybe get it in some bundles from Thunderful Publishing, which we like. They've made a lot of stuff. So developed by Wishfully, which let's click and see. They've made a game called Phantom Spark that I've never seen before, but looks pretty cool, actually. I'm going to come back to that. And then Thunderful, I forget. They're one of these publishers that I know their name, but I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Leica. I think that's the last
Leica.
one I remember.
That sounds right.
Also, I think Viewfinder?
They're one of these, like, well, if they weren't in the AAA initiative, then they should be, because they're one of these big indie names. Lots of stuff, but cool. So that's Planet of Lana. How long did it take you to beat that? Like 6 hours?
It's a 5-hour game maximum. 4 hours you could probably get it done. I did accidentally screw up on a few of the puzzles, and boy, you gotta restart whole chunks if you do that sometimes.
Well, sometimes it'd be like that. All right. Well, yeah. I wish that you could have enjoyed it more. I was hoping that you would tell me that this was a big step forward, or at least some step forward for the genre. But, it's like when walking simulators first came out, and a bunch of them suddenly came out. And it was hard to tell. It's like, okay, but is this one the same as all these other? It's a walking simulator, so the metaphor of a step forward is very important here. And it seemed like some of them just weren't that they were just fine. So if you had played one, you didn't necessarily need to play the other because they weren't a big enough step here. But like you said, If you haven't played those other ones, then this seems like a good place to start. So, cool asterisk,
Cool asterisk.
And then let's see. So the game I've got for today is Content Warning. This is a game, Vilos, you and I played together. We've been working on Sid to see if she'll join us sometime.
Fat chance.
But I've described this game as 40% spooky, 60% kooky. This is a game that was free to own for 24 hours on April Fool's Day, its release date. This is a Lethal Company type of game. You and your pals, and Phasmophobia too, just definitely goofier than Phasmo. This is a game where you and up to 3 friends don your emoji outfits and try to go viral by going down and capturing spooky things on video. So you start in your world and you are a clumsy body that clomps all over the place. My footsteps kept scaring me when we first loaded it up because I thought someone was behind me, but no, those were my own feet. Uh, you load up and you're kind of fumbling around. The whole thing is just kind of like Gang Beastsy in its presentation, or less Gang Beasts and more specifically the way I felt when we played Human Fall
Human
Flat.
Fall Flat.
Flat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because those are very similar, but different enough. The like dragging your feet around kind of thing, where it's almost like you're a puppet, where you're being held at the exact height where your feet are on the ground. It kind of had
Important
that.
question. Can you do the torque of friendship in content warning like you can in Human Fall Flat?
The sad thing there is that you have to buy emotes, so you have to earn
Not with real
enough
money.
to get there.
Not with real money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you can't like physically like crouch or whatever and like grab the ground and like.
Oh, we found ways to do things.
We
just
did.
not-
You won't
yeah,
see him
just not quite that.
in this video, but we the DOS Bros, Hot Rod and Deadpool, they immediately found ways to climb up in the cabinets where your body is like super contorted, and your butt's sticking out. It's great.
Yeah, we did some exorcism stuff as far as the the scenes from that.
It's just quality stuff. We streamed this the Friday after it came out, and I wore my Halloween bear suit from a while ago, which only felt right because you're trying to go viral. You know, you got to pull out all the stops. So you load up. You are given a video camera with 1.5 minutes, so 90 seconds of film. That's not very much. You sit there and if you're fooling around, I mean, your film is disappearing. So the first round that we played, I took the camera. Everybody grabbed a flashlight. You go down to the world because you don't have any money to spend. You go down to the spooky world that's all in like black and white and stuff. It's all like monochrome, pretty much. It's black, white, and sometimes red. But in the couple different sets of 3 days that we played, so you load in and you have 3 days to get some goal. I don't remember. Probably a number of followers. That's usually how these games work. You have that goal. You have 3 days to do it. But as we discovered, you've got a stamina bar and an oxygen bar. But when that oxygen bar empties, you instantly fall over dead. There's no like, oh, I'm running out of health. Like, you're dead. So, oopsie, the first video I'm sure was going to be great, but I died with it. We all died. And so that video camera got left behind. Oops. But we came back the next day. We kept swapping the video camera between us. And so you've got the camera, and it looks like an old school camcorder from like the 90s. And so you can zoom in and aim it at something, or you can do selfie mode where it's, right in front of you, facing back at you. And
Like kind of Blair Witch Project-y?
exactly.
Okay.
And it makes for these really great moments of, like, you can tell that this person's sprinting, and it has in-game proximity chat, which is important, because when you guys split up, you're lost. Like, you're not going to hear each other. And in a game like Phasmophobia or Lethal Company, splitting up has the benefit of, like, oh, we might find more loot or ghosts or whatever. We might find the thing we're searching for more quickly. In this game, the only thing that matters is that you get good footage on film. So there's not any real reason to split up for the most part. But
that won't stop people from doing it.
It's fun to explore. And each of the 2 sets of 3 days that we played dropped us in 2 different places. So both times we dropped in, we were completely unfamiliar with where we were. So I'm excited to find out how many of those places there are. But you go in, you just goof around with your buddies, right? Like, you're supposed to find something spooky. Some things are actually spooky, others aren't. They're creatures, but they aren't really scary. But it's really you just making your own fun. And I don't know how any of the viewership stuff is calculated. I didn't even pay enough attention to find out. But when you do get viewers, when you take your camera back home and you turn it into a video and you pop it into the TV and everyone sits on the virtual couch and watches it together. It's this great, fun social moment that you all get to not only relive what you just experienced down in the world, but you specifically get to relive what happened while it was recording, right? Because like your perspective may be different than the person with the camera, and if the person with the camera is especially talented, man, I mean, they can just make a really funny video in 90 seconds. So I think the best one we had was Deadpool. He made a really good one. He opens the clip like when you start the game, you're in the colorful, happy world, the spawn zone, I guess. There's a big crane that you can climb up to, and you can just jump off if you want. You don't. There's no fall damage in this game. Wait, Violet, is there fall damage? Okay, well I cannot remember.
There's only one way to find out.
Yeah.
It was stamina that it takes down some stamina.
Right,
and then
you do fall over
tumble
for a while
every time.
Yeah. So you don't take fall damage, but the best one was Deadpool had the camera facing him, and he goes, "This, I'm Deadpool, and this is our cold open," and you can't really tell what's going on, but then you see the crane speeding behind him, and boom, he smashes into the ground. He had just jumped off right as he hit record, and then it starts into everything else. But the biggest gripe I had when we were playing, and this has since been fixed, so I'm told, is that the in-game proximity chat is it's why the levels are not good. They were not good. So like we might have each other turned down to a reasonable volume while we're playing, but then at the end of the day, when you pop your DVD into the TV, it's like insanely loud, like crazy,
it was wildly
loud.
inconsistent, and there was no way for us to control it. And the fact that you have the perks of buying items like microphones, boom mics, and like you have multiple different mics that you can buy in order to improve sound quality and hear things better, that also ratchets up the volume in a stupid way.
It's so loud.
Yeah, the videos we got were literally like 3 or 4 times louder than anything else in the game.
I wonder if that's kind of like a play on like when you do TikToks and stuff, or like YouTube poop, sometimes people are like, what's it called, bass blast or bass boost the videos where they're just like boom, like for like no reason. Yeah.
It's very possible, honestly.
So I wonder
they
if
might
it's
have
like
done
a
it
play on that.
artistically at first.
Well, they've since fixed it based on feedback, because it was pretty hard to stream at that point, because I had to like go into my volume mixer and be like, whoa, let's bring this down to like 2% volume. But it sounds like they fixed it. But like Viola said, there are lots of things you can buy, including a microphone, which you can hold yourself, or you can point it at something else or someone else. And that makes it like a global chat, so you can hear them no matter where they are. So some fun stuff would just be like, okay, and here we are with Mr. Snail, this creature that just like lumbers around. Mr. Snail, how are you? And you hold the microphone up to the snail, and it doesn't say anything. Okay, well, back to you, Tom,
and then it grabs your friend and doesn't let go.
Right. And this game is just full of surprises. I don't really want to spoil some of the stuff I've seen. I did watch a really funny video. Like, Vilas, you linked a video that was very funny, but also it showed me so many things that, while funny, where I was just like, oh god, I wish I hadn't seen that. At such a breakneck speed, I'm like, oh, I've never seen that creature, or that creature, or that creature. Oh geez. Like, oh man, I hope I gotta quit watching.
Yeah, we don't know what the limit is. I don't think that anybody's really like exhausted this game yet.
For sure. But this is another one I'm excited to put into the rotation. I talked about Minecraft earlier and our survival rotation. Well, I'm excited to put this one in with Phasmophobia and Lethal Company, and maybe Helldivers, because Helldivers is also really goofy, just a party game. But highly recommend this game. Content warning is $8 full price on Steam. I would say it's worth $8 even for the one session that we played. I'm excited for this game to get lots of updates, because just like those other two games, it seems like the kind of passion project that we're going to see updates to, for at least a couple of years. So even if you're not interested in playing right now, I bet this is one that's going to come back again, especially near the holiday. if Among Us and Phasmophobia taught me anything, it's once the holiday comes around, people are ready to whip out those party games again. So this will probably be one of those. It's really a good time. Despite the audio things we complained about, gosh, besides everything we've talked about here, it's best to just go in as blind as possible because the tripping over your shoelaces meter is off the charts. It is just so funny to stumble around this world and discover what there is to see. I mean, the first thing you do when you start the game is you walk up to a keyboard and you choose the color of your face, and then you type anything on the keyboard. I thought there would be presets and stuff, but you can type anything on your keyboard, and as long as it's only like 5 characters or less, maybe even just 3 characters, that's what your face is going to be. So my first one was like capital O underscore capital O, so it just looked like I had huge eyes. I think it was Odysseus at one point just said hi period in lowercase.
That fits.
Yeah.
That fits.
Yep.
Yeah. I do want to add real quick. I did just look up Landfall Games, the publisher, real quick, to see how their Twitter was going. And yesterday they said Content Warning has now sold 1 million copies on top of the 6.6 million players that got it for free.
Nice.
So,
Wow.
You love to see that. Absolute genius move for them to release this for free, like free to own on April Fool's Day. Because as we've discovered, like lots of games are fun, but to know that your friends have the game, it's what makes Game Pass so easy. It's just like, hey, I know for a fact that you own Minecraft because you're on Game Pass, so let's play. Assuming that Minecraft costs money. I actually don't even know if Minecraft normally costs money. That's how confusing Minecraft is to me. But absolute genius move because now tons of people own this game. So when you go to play with your friends, a bunch of them might already own it. So, yeah, Content Warning. Let's see, where did I write this down? Developed by 5 people. Their names are Skog, Zorro, Weinel, spelled like vinyl but with a W, Philip, and the Pet Hen. So this is as indie as it gets.
Wow.
Those are all their only credits on Steam are this game. And when you're naming people like by name, quote unquote, by the username, that's the most indie. Like that's so scrappy, and I really like it. It definitely fits the vibe of this game. The publisher is Landfall Games, like you mentioned. Other games that I saw that they have on Steam are Cluster Truck. That's one I really like a lot.
Oh yeah.
And Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. You've probably seen a video of that. Somewhere on the
what a
internet.
throwback!
Right. I saw that game has seen some updates and at least a second version, if not a sequel. I don't think it's a sequel, but it was like all over their publishing page. So I think that they've been supporting that pretty well, as far as I can tell. But yep, excited for that. It seems like they just make a lot of low budget, at least like minimalist, funny games. So check those guys out, Landfall Games. All right, well, cool. Well, that's 3 games, huh? We done already? Man, this episode flew by.
That's what happens when you're having fun. Talk about games.
That's right. So we had new, old, and in between. So boom, boom, boom. Let's see. Is there anything else to mention before we wrap up here? I think that's it. But
I did just want to add, because again I just saw it, that Content Warning's devs are looking to add quote unquote lost footage for other players to find in the game. So they actually have a Google Doc for our participation. You
Wow.
can upload your video and do a couple things and fill out this form, and they might put your video as something for everybody else to find in the game.
that's
Okay, I'm downloading
awesome.
the game now.
Okay,
You already
yeah.
know.
That's
I
incredible.
I'm buying it. People gotta find my footage, y'all.
I am so excited about that. Oh my god, let's play soon. Okay, well then let's wrap up here. So this has been a now playing episode. We covered Gigantic, Planet of Lana, and Content Warning. You can catch Sid over on their channel. It's I almost said your old Twitch channel at Obsidianite, twitch.tv/Obsidianite, which you can find links to all over our socials, but you can also find the rest of us at discord.gg/party invite show. that's the best place to keep up with us, really, whether you're trying to find our schedule, play along, just chat about games, any of that stuff. We just want to offer a place on the internet for people to come together in a positive way. So I have been your host, Tegan, and I've been joined by the lovely Vilos and Obsidianite. We'll see you guys again soon.